Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Liz, and today we are going to do 5 Dollar Tree DIYs, which I absolutely think you're going to love. Let's go ahead and jump into our first DIY. For this DIY, I'm going to grab this tinsel candy cane duo that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove all of the tinsel, get it down to its bare bones. I'm just going to cut and unwrap until it is completely bare. Now I'm going to use some cream and a dark rusty red colored twine to rewrap this candy cane wreath form, I guess you'd call it, or just candy cane form. So I started off by gluing the twine down at the bottom and I started wrapping it, but one thing that I noticed with all those little ends poking off of the form, it made it so that my twine was really bulky over those parts. So you don't necessarily have to do this step, but I wanted to do it so that my twine wrapped around the form looked a lot more uniform rather than some spots be bulkier than others. So I just took some wire cutters and I just went through and snipped all those off. It was really easy, just one little extra step, and I feel like it made a huge difference with this DIY. Once I got all those snipped off, now I'm just going to continue with my twine, wrapping it around the wreath form, and then when I feel like I have enough of one color, I'm going to cut that twine and glue it down, and then I'll start with the other color and I'll glue it right to where I stopped with the previous color, and then I'll just continue to wrap around. This was a little bit of a lengthy DIY just because you're doing a lot of just wrapping and wrapping. Maybe I was just being way too, precise and trying to be a perfectionist, but if you can just wrap really quickly, I'm sure this will go so much faster for you. So I just do this back and forth. I'll do one color, cut off the end, glue it down, glue down the new color, wrap and wrap and wrap all the way around the candy cane form. Now around the middle, I did struggle a little bit to keep everything from not having gaps, because you're going from 2 separate pieces to one middle piece. So that was a little bit tricky, but I am going to have stuff covering up in the middle anyways, so I wasn't too worried about if there were some gaps. Towards the curve of the candy canes, I did use a little bit more glue to make sure that my twine stayed in place since it is a curved piece. It just makes it a little bit trickier to wrap around. And then towards the end, I did use a lot more hot glue. Just as I'm getting to the very end, I don't want my piece to unravel. And then to finish it off, I just cut the ends and hot glue it down in a circle around the end of the candy cane. I'm going to take a piece of this Christmas pick that I believe that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to cut off a couple pieces, and then I did take some buffalo check ribbon. Like I said, I'm going to wrap that around the middle to cover up the gaps that were in the twine, but then it's also going to match the bow that we're going to put on it as well. So I just wrap that around a couple times and then hot glue it down to the back. Once that's on there, I'm going to take the pieces from that Christmas pick and I'm going to hot glue those down right in the middle, and then I'm going to take that same ribbon, make a cute little bow with it just by taking 2 loops and tying them together, adjust the loops on the bow, cut down the tails, and then I'm just going to hot glue that right to the middle. And then lastly, I'm just going to take some twine, loop it through the top of the candy canes, tie a knot at the top, and then that is it for this DIY. You have this really cute rustic candy cane that you could hang from a tree or you could set on a tiered tray. I just think that this is adorable. For this DIY, I'm going to take one of these mini tag signs from the Dollar Tree. You get these in their ornament section, and I'm just going to flip it over on its back. I cut off the hanger for it, I took off the tag on the back, and I'm going to give this a good 2 coats of my Waverly chalk paint in white. Once that's all dry, I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to go along all the edges and the middle. I really want this to look rustic and distressed, so I like seeing that natural, it's not natural wood, natural MDF come through on the sides. And now I'm going to take these wooden words that I got in a pack from the Target dollar spot last year, but I do know that Dollar Tree currently has wood word DIY pieces that are small like this. I just have never been able to find any at my Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use the ones that I had from Target dollar spot. And I just picked out the word believe, and then I'm going to take some of this ribbon that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Technically, this is their autumn ribbon, but I just think that this is so pretty for a rustic kind of Christmas look. So I just cut off a piece enough that I can wrap it around the back of my sign, and I just hot glued that, making sure I pulled really tight so that there isn't any kind of loose or wavy pieces in the front. Hopefully that makes sense and you know what I'm talking about, but I just made sure to pull that really tight. And then I'm just going to take some twine, wrap it around about 3 or 4 times on top of the ribbon. I'm going to tie a double knot, and then I'm just going to use the tails of the twine to tie a cute little bow, again taking 2 loops and then just tying them together. Once I've got that done, I'm going to take my word believe, which is actually a sticker you can pull off the back and just stick it right down to the sign. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to take some more twine. I'm going to put a piece of painter's tape on the top so that I can thread some wood beads through. So I just tied a double knot towards the bottom of the sign, and then I just added 4 wood beads, and then I'll tie a double knot at the top. And that's all you got to do for this DIY. I think this is super cute. Again, you could put this on a tier tray, set it on a shelf by your front door, maybe on your buffet table. I just think this is a really cute accent piece. For this DIY, I found this sign at the Dollar Tree. I actually thought this was so cute, and that fox on it was adorable. I'm going to save that for a project for my son's room. I'm going to take apart the sign, take the fox off, take the frame off of the backing. I'm going to take some of this scrapbook paper that I got in a pack from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to use the back of the sign to trace out the paper and cut it out. Now, this backing didn't fit completely in the sign itself, so I made sure to cut out the paper a little bit larger than the backing so that when I put it back in, you wouldn't see any gaps between the sign and the frame. And then to reattach it, I'm just going to add some hot glue in all the corners, and then I just put the backing right on back into the frame. Now I'm going to take some of these bells that I got from the Dollar Tree and some of this twine / rope ribbon. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby, but I'm just going to loop this through the top of the bell, and then I'm going to tie a double knot at the top of the bell, and then I kind of measure to see where I want the bell to hang from, and once I get that idea, I'm going to tie another double knot at the top, and then I can see where that bell will hang from. Now I'm going to do that to 3 bells. 2 of them will be longer, and then 1 of them will be shorter. Once I have all 3 bells on my string or rope twine, I am going to start hot gluing this to my sign. So I take the middle bell, which is going to be the shortest in length, and I'm going to hot glue that right to the middle of the top of my sign on the frame. So it's just going to hang down from the frame. And then I'll take my 2 identical longer bells, and I'm going to hot glue them on either side of the middle bell. Now I'm going to take some pieces of a Christmas pick that I got, I believe, again from Hobby Lobby. That's typically where I get my Christmas picks. That and Walmart in their 98-cent bins. You can find some really good stuff there. So I just took a couple pieces and I'm just going to hot glue them to the top of my bell sign. And then I'm going to take some burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to make a bow. Now to do this, I'm going to take one piece, fold it in half, and I'm going to hot glue the ends together. Then I'm going to take a separate piece that is going to be the tails of the ribbon, and I'm going to put the looped part on top of the tails. I'm going to take a piece of twine, put it in the middle, and then just tie that really tight so it all scrunches up in the middle, and then you have yourself a really cute bow. I'm just going to dovetail the ends, and then I also wrapped the twine around the middle several times so it had a cute looking middle piece to the bow. And then lastly, I'm just going to hot glue that to the middle of my Christmas greenery. And that's it for this DIY. I thought this was really cute with the bells hanging down. And I love the contrast of the red and the gold and then the green. I just thought this one was super adorable. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't heard of them before, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes that will inspire your creativity. One class that I recently came across was Style Your Space by Emily Henderson. This class was so much fun and gave me so many tips and tricks on how I can decorate and style my own home. She helps you find your style and even walks you through budget-friendly ways on how to decorate your home. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes. At less than $10 a month for an annual subscription, Skillshare is super affordable. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in my description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so that you can start exploring your own creativity. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this part of the video. Now let's jump into our next DIY. Now this DIY is super easy. All you're going to do is grab one of these calendar signs from the Dollar Tree. It has these hooks on it, which I think are really fun. I'm just removing all of the tag pieces, and then I'm also going to remove those hooks. I just grabbed my pliers and twisted them right out. Now I'm going to grab another piece of scrapbook paper that I got in a pack from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to take the sign and put it on top of the paper to trace it out, and then I'm just going to use my glue stick to adhere the scrapbook paper on top of the sign. Now you could kind of feel where those bumps were, where the holes are for your hooks, and I just grabbed an X-Acto knife and poked some holes in the paper so that I could reattach my hooks to the sign. I just used my hands and then some pliers to get them nice and tight back into the sign. Now again, I'm going to take one of those Christmas words from the Target dollar spot. I chose the word Christmas, and I'm just going to put that at the bottom of my sign. So now I have this cute little Christmas countdown calendar that I just think is so adorable. And then to finish it off, I took off the twine that was the hanger for the original sign. I'm going to add 6 natural wood beads that I got in a pack from Amazon. And then I'm just going to hot glue the twine back down to the sign, and it just made the sign even cuter, adding some beads to the hanger, and that's it. That's all you got to do for this DIY. Really, really simple and easy, and now you have an adorable Christmas countdown. For this DIY, I'm going to grab one of these chalkboard DIY signs from the Dollar Tree and some of these gingerbread men cutouts new this year that I thought they were so cute, and I'm just going to take 6 of those, And then I'm going to paint my chalkboard in my Waverly chalk paint in silver lining. And I did give this about 2 to 3 coats, especially in the middle, because it does take a little bit more to cover up the black chalkboard type material. So I just gave this several good coats until everything was nice and covered. Once that's all dry, I'm going to take a natural sponge, I'm going to get it wet, and then I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in steel, which is just a shade darker than the silver lining, and I just went through and dabbed all over the entire thing. So I'm trying to make this look like a cookie sheet, if you can't tell already, and I just went over the entire thing, just dabbing all over. It was still pretty wet, so it mixed the paint in all over. I love the way it turned out. You could obviously do some other things. I thought about making it look, I don't know, a little rusty at some parts, but this is how I left it. So after that is set to the side and drying, I'm going to start on my gingerbread men. Now, I will say, I am no gingerbread man expert. In fact, they probably turned out a little creepy, but the idea is there. So I'm going to paint all of my gingerbread men in this golden brown paint from Apple Barrel. And I just wanted them to look like they were nice and golden brown. And then I'm going to take a back of a paintbrush and I'm going to add my eyes. Again, I tried my best on this. I don't know why I'm not good with like faces it wasn't happening. So my gingerbread men look a little creepy. But you get the idea behind what I was going for. So if you can make your gingerbread men look really cute, this project will look amazing for you. But I'm still happy with the way it turned out. So I just added my face, the eyes, and the smile. And then I added the little squiggly lines on the arms and the legs. And then for the middle on the buttons, again, I'm just taking the back of a paintbrush in some red and some green paint, and I'm just dabbing on the back and adding little buttons to the middle of my gingerbread men. And then eventually I did go back in with a little dot of black for the pupils of the eyes, hoping that that would fix it. I don't know if it looks better or worse. You'll have to tell me what you think in the comments below. Like I said, the idea is there. I'm sure if you are great at faces or can, figure out some other way to make them look really cute, by all means, go for it. I was too afraid to do anything more to this, that it was going to look even worse than I was feeling like it looked. But I still think this turned out cute, even if my gingerbread men are a little creepy. So I'm going to start just hot gluing my gingerbread men down to my cookie pan, and I just line them up in 2 rows of 3 so that when my sign stands, it will stand upright and my gingerbread men are right there. I think this is so much fun. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Let me know what your favorite project was in the comments down below. I have so many more fun Dollar Tree DIYs coming up for you this week, so stay tuned. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!